Welcome to What's Up Wednesday, everybody. I want to revisit a topic that I know that I've covered or touched on from a lot of different viewpoints in the past, and that's professionalism. Now, I'm going to focus specifically on writing skills in this What's Up Wednesday, but I want to first kind of address my idea of professionalism. Now, I'm one who has always said that there are a tremendous number of safety people in the US, but there are a much smaller faction of safety professionals. And I know that can come across maybe as a little offensive, but the reality is there are a lot of safety folks out there who aren't professional. And when I say that, they maybe dress like the crews and talk like the crews and act like the crews they interact with on a daily basis, instead of, I don't want to say elevating themselves, but maybe setting a tone of professionalism, dressing to the job that they want, behaving in a manner that says, hey, I am leadership, I am management, I am senior level, and I'm here to support you. I think there are enormous advantages to building rapport by relating to people, but I also think that safety professionals have to maintain boundaries, if you want to call it that, or a perspective where they are viewed as this is leadership, this is management. And part of that professionalism to me is how we interact with people when we write. Now, I know that not all safety professionals spend a lot of their time writing, but for most, writing is a really big part of the job, whether you're putting together an assessment or a report based on a safety walk, whether you're writing a memo, whether you're reporting an incident, or you're writing some kind of other report. Either way, writing skills are extremely important. And what I find over and over and over again is that many safety folks write much like they text. Now, when I say that, I'm probably the oddball who I use talk to text when I'm texting, and I use punctuation. I have periods and commas in my texts. And I know that my kids look at me like I'm a moron for doing that, frankly, because people don't use punctuation with texts. But when I read text or I read social media posts and there's no punctuation, I find it very difficult for myself to be able to read whatever that message is, because I can't tell where one sentence ends and another begins. And I think that I'm probably not the only one who feels that way. And I think in a professional setting, and to an extent, I would say this carries over to our personal lives. If we do these things in our personal life, they're going to carry over into our professional life and vice versa. So when we're texting, when we're posting something on a social media platform, if we get in the habit of using punctuation, focusing on grammar, sentence structure, and spelling, then we're going to make a habit of that and begin doing it everywhere. And it's so absolutely critical, in my opinion, that we exhibit that professionalism. It's part of our job. It's something that sets us apart and sets a tone. Do you want to be a project safety person who spends all their time in the field and no time in the office for the rest of your career? Or do you want to elevate to the point where you become the vice president of safety for a large corporation, or in some cases even beyond, and become a company leader, even at the president or CEO level? So those are questions that you have to kind of figure out, but start with focusing on writing. And one tool that I've presented in the past, and I'll bring up again, is there's a fantastic free tool out there called Grammarly. Grammarly, you can Google it, Grammarly, I believe. And maybe I can figure out how to drop a link to Grammarly, but you can download Grammarly for free and connect it to Microsoft Office suite products. So Microsoft Word, Excel, Outlook, etc. And I know for me, even with my internet browser, I'll get a pop-up recommendation on maybe changing the sentence structure. The way I wrote it doesn't make sense, doesn't flow. So there'll be a suggestion on how to restructure that sentence. It'll obviously point out misspelled words. It'll point out punctuation and grammatical errors. And really, it helps me become a better writer. And sure, the goal is that it's going to catch that and it's going to make a recommendation that I'm going to accept to make the change. But at the same time, I try to be very self-aware of the change that's being recommended, so I get in the habit of understanding where commas need to go, because believe it or not, from the time that I was in high school and college 30 years ago to now, things have changed and the way we do things have changed. So the way to keep up on that is to pay attention to the recommendations that are being made and follow them and make them a habit. So obviously, I think use of commas and run-on sentences are two very good examples of common writing errors that almost everybody encounters. And Grammarly is going to help you with that. So give that a shot. Try it. Download Grammarly for free. And I think they have a paid version as well, but I've always used the free version and I absolutely love it. It makes me a better writer. It fixes most of my mistakes, catches most of my corrections. I will say that as a rule of thumb, it's a really good idea to always read what you wrote before you hit the send button, before you hit the save button. Make sure you read it and look for mistakes you may have made that would not be caught by Grammarly. So Grammarly is not a catch-all. It does a fantastic job of catching a lot of things, but you still need to reread anything that you write and then make modifications as necessary before you submit it. So hopefully that helps. If you'd like to have a conversation around this topic and the importance of it from my perspective, I'd be happy to do that at any time. So hopefully that helps, and we'll see you next Wednesday.